Hey, welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. All right. No, also on this channel, I like to go in deep within my readings, which means I'd like to look at everything, but we definitely look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes within your experiences. So the readings are a little bit longer because I go in a different direction. It's not just about what your person's going to do and why they're and what they did in the past. It's about why they're doing what they're doing and how that's influencing you and why are you attracting this person into your life to begin with. And the reason why is because a lot of times we find ourselves connected to someone that there's a cognitive dissonance. You want the person, but you don't. You like the person, but you don't. And you find that you spend more time ruminating on what they did, how they made you feel, than actually being in the relationship. It's a relationship that you know that there's a soul's connection and there is unconditional love, but the person is not doing anything to put you in a place that you want to give them unconditional love. If anything, they're triggering you. So, in order to get out of that energy, again, when we're holding on to a cognitive dissonance, like I said, we begin to ruminate and we begin to get very moody because your emotions, your thoughts create your emotions. And that inevitably is what makes people take action, right? We get triggered over time when we ruminate on something and it's something that's bothering us, then it just takes one little thing to happen. And we can completely destroy our relationship. We can say things that we don't really mean. We could say things. So understand that's why karma manifests from not really what happens, but from how we deal with what happens. So I consider these readings to be more healing. All right. So let's just jump on in today. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, know that there is a wait, but you can still put your name down and eventually I will get to it. Otherwise, just like the video and subscribe to the channel because it's really good karma. But if you want to enter into winning free reading, I am going to eventually come back to all the videos that I haven't chosen anyone and choose winners. All right, so let's see what the underlining energy is because you'll need that word of the video to put in your comment bar if you want to enter, along with liking and subscribing, okay? Also know that anything important or relevant to the channel you can find in the description box, including my Psychic Soul Healer Shadow Healing Coaching Program. There we do a lot of different exercises. We talk about our triggers and it's a really fun time. So you can want to check it out and you can check that out by clicking on the Patreon link. Also, I am open for private readings. You can find my website link in also the description box. All right. And also, by the way, if you forget the word of the video ever, you can always look in the description box because that's in there also. Okay, so the word of the video. Oh, look, two came out, and I never believe in any mistakes. Stubbornness and sorrow, sadness. Well, I feel like you're in separation from someone that feels like an ass. It feels like an ass because that they were stubborn. It's almost like I feel like you're connected to someone that there is a spiritual connection to, but this person just doesn't like to ever say, I'm sorry. Never didn't really want to. I feel like it didn't want to seem vulnerable, didn't want to seem like they cared too much, didn't want to, some people just are not emotionally intelligent and they're afraid to show their emotions. And that usually happens from growing up in an environment where someone made you feel as if the way that you were expressing yourself, the way that you were feeling was that there was something wrong. So I feel like this person, if anything, they're not emotionally intelligent and they tend to be very immature and they tend to get like try to get underneath people's skin to like get them to cave in, to get them to like apologize. So I feel like this person like held back from giving you an apology. And I don't really even, I feel like whatever they did wasn't half as bad as staying away from you, from again being stubborn, because it was almost like this person took it to a one up you. Like you feel like I'm not in competition with you of who hates the other more, especially if you're trying to you tell me that you care about me. If I care about you, I'm not going to deliberately focus on holding out and not being vulnerable, not being transparent. I'm not going to do any of that if I care about you. That's where how you deal with people when you're in a relationship. I just feel like this person, they've been in a lot of toxic relationships. So I feel like it's like, and they were also raised by someone that they watched never give in. Never give in, even if they were wrong. It was all about being right. So I feel like that they're now sad because what they see is you don't care anymore. You've detached, which is what happens a lot of times. This person expected you to fight for the connection, expected you to be sorry. See, because they know you as being soft and sensitive. And I feel like that version of you is gone. And they know that. That's why they're sorry. They don't really even know how to approach you now. Then it was stupid. It was stupid. I feel like whatever they did, they could have just apologized. I feel like they wanted you to let it go. They wanted you to, but you wouldn't, because you're like, no, because these little things are like little digs inside of me where you're trying to chip away at my self-esteem. So no, I'm not gonna like just pretend that it didn't happen. Acknowledge it by apologizing to me. And this person was stubborn. They didn't want to do it. Why didn't they want to do it? It's like what I want to know. It's again the struggle. It's like that I feel like, well, this is a thing with you. You're like, but they did. It's like it triggered you. I feel like because you grew up in an environment that you weren't supported. Your emotions weren't supported. You might have been seen as too sensitive. Also, like, it's like you're not in a relationship by yourself. And a lot of times when people are wounded, what they like to do is they like to compartmentalize. That's what they do. And that's what I'm feeling like this person tends to do. So being in a relationship with you, it like requires obviously them to be vulnerable, transparent, to not only invite you into parts of their life and then other parts of their life exclude you from. And I feel like again they struggle. They struggle with letting people in their life. And I said, and you struggled with the way that they treated you. And I feel like that created a lot of resentment because you're like, it doesn't need to be this difficult. It's like you don't want to be vulnerable. Your way, it's like your way or the highway. So also you didn't like to be treated that way. It made you feel very like it made you not but like losing faith in the connection because you're like, I can't be in a relationship like this. I thought, and I think it's because you thought that they were someone else. And I think that you judge this person by like the exterior, the job that they have, the way that they hold themselves through their mask, through what they choose to show people. So it's again, you gave this person a lot more credit than they have. And then what happened is it's like after a while, you're not trusting this person. If you can't express the way that you feel, and if it's gonna be mocked or ignored, where you don't really feel like you're being supported, that there's no emotional support, then you feel like, what are you just with me for like to get your needs taken care of. It's like, and then you're like pacifying me with giving me what you want to give me, but it's not fulfilling to me, and you don't really care. So again, you were losing faith in it. You're like, I'm not, well, we keep having the same arguments. I keep telling you the same thing, and you're not fixing it. And the truth of the matter is, it's that you really, it's like I noticed that you like to get a lot of attention from like a lot of people. So you don't really can't even pay attention to what my emotional needs are because you're so caught up in your own. It's like we wind up in a vicious cycle of me saying the same exact thing over and over and over to you. And it's really confusing because you tell me that you care about me, but your actions are not in alignment with that at all. It's like, so I'm starting to like not really believe what you're telling me. I feel like you're like just telling me because you're not really like you're telling me that I'm the love of your life and that you want me to that I make you into a better person and that uh like you can see a future with me, right? But then it's like you're not, like your actions aren't that. You tell me that you can't walk away from me, but it's like I don't really feel like you're with me either. It's like, and that's when a person isn't emotionally giving you and they are compartmentalizing due to their bad relationships. You're gonna get that. And where you're gonna feel like again that you're struggling to have the most basic conversations. And that's because the person on some level is committed to not doing to not walking the walk. They're committed to telling you, they're committed to the idea, but again, they're not really committed to it. And the reason why is because emotionally they're not capable. And the reason why is that like we see this, that they tend to escape. And they escape through substances anytime that you or them have a problem, anytime that they have a problem with anything, they avoid. So a person that avoids normally within just within their, everyday problems, well, when they're in a relationship and then there's a problem, it makes them feel inadequate. So what they do is that they completely escape. They leave you, they ghost you, and they go on a binge. And they go on a binge where they again use substances and they to avoid the situation. So what we see here is that they have anxious avoidant attachment style. And so that's always going to make you feel abandoned. That's always going to make you feel as if like you're not being heard. It's always going to make you feel like emotionally that you're not getting what you need because this person is not even showing up for what they need. They like the idea of the relationship. They like the fantasy of it. But relationships take effort and it's not all it's not all rosy all the time. Like relationships take work, they take effort because you're dealing with somebody that doesn't think the way that you do, is not going to react the same way that you do. But it's about compromise. It's about where this person's like, is my way or the highway? So it's like, what can you do? It's like you're stubborn for no reason. Like you want to play the one-uppy game. What's more important? Is our relationship important or is you winning more important? Because right now, from where you will look in Scorpio, you're like, it's all about them winning. It's all about them like trying to prove a point to like push me into being subservient to what they give me, which I'm not satisfied. And we keep going through these situations where it's all about you getting the attention. It's all about you getting what you want. And if I don't give it to you, then you search for it in outside things. And addiction is one. It's anything that's going to fill you emotionally. because you can't like generate that yourself. Again, where again in the dark, you are keeping yourself from knowing. So it's again this person by drinking and avoiding, and really it's like they just pretend that they don't really see, they don't really know. If I'm not present, then I'm definitely staying in the dark. And then I don't have to be responsible. And this is the way this person is avoidant. They have to look at how they contribute to what goes on. I feel like this person looks about how you react. And then when you react, instead of working through the problem, they go off. And that's very abandoning, for like makes you feel very abandoned. So I can guarantee that you have anxious attachment, abandonment, which is attachment, which like causes major trauma because you feel like at any given time that this person emotions, they are not forming a real strong emotional bond with you because they're avoiding it, because they can't talk about anything deep, because they can't like be real, and they want to compartmentalize the relationship. And then what happens is that you don't want to do that. You're like, I'm not going to go back into a relationship. And then this person, like, I feel like tells you that it's going to be different. There's a lot of talk, but there's no real walk. And then when, you bring it up to them, they don't really know what's going on. So like I said, I feel like after a while, you just detach from them because you're like, I can't be in this relationship because it's all about your stubbornness. Really, that's what ruined the relationship. They're not really what happened, it's what they did. It's like not really what that they did is what I'm saying. It's the fact that they held back, that they were stubborn, is what I'm trying to get at. I feel the sexual energy between us, yet is beyond physical attraction. It needs to be elevated to the expression of deep unconditional love, so there's the potential here. So again, this person recognizes the soul's connection, and so do you. So I feel like you had an expectation, and that expectation was, again, because we have this connection, you're going to want to care about my feelings. You're going to, and I feel like it's also you put in more effort with this person, and the effort might have just been like holding on, maybe not even effort, like you held space in your brain for this person, and that's enough to create a wound. So it's again, where this person was committed to not elevating. And again, where it's like the way that they navigate is through the physical connection, not through the emotional connection. And they will psychologically and emotionally manipulate in order to get what they want physically. And so again, you're not going along with it. And so this triggered this person because I feel like they associate you really caring with how much you desire them physically, because that's their language. We all have different love languages. That's really one of this person's love languages. They need to know that whoever they're with really wants to be with them, almost like on an obsessive level. And that's because they feel insecure, and that you will feel insecure if you compartmentalize your life. It's like because you're compartmentalizing because you have shadows. And this person is, because they have shadows, is trying to strategize the relationship to a place where they feel comfortable. Only it's not working. It's triggering you, and it's triggering this person, where then they punished you because it's like, well, all they see is what you're doing. They don't see what they're doing to contribute to the situation, or they didn't when you were in the relationship. That your issue, I believe, was that you stuck around believing that this person would change, because again, they would say that they would want to. You feel the spiritual connection. So you feel the spiritual connection. And then on top of it, I feel like you either really didn't date before that or was in a bad relationship before that. So you were a little bit void before of emotionally not getting what you needed. So here comes this person that there's a spiritual connection and they're saying all the right words and they put in a little bit of effort, but you're assuming that you're gonna get more. And that's where this person, like, again, was like, oh no, I'm not gonna give more because, and more would be emotionally being vulnerable, letting you really into their life, being transparent, being able to talk to you to build that emotional bond, to be like a little bit more present and emotional aware in the relationship where this person, like, I feel like again doesn't really want to, this is their issue, they want to stay at a low vibration, and the low vibration is to be in passion, and that's without the emotional connection, no strings attached. But that's not really because you, that's not because you did anything, but because they're bad relationships, and that's because this is the way that they are. And when you're this way, you're never going to have a good relationship. It's because after a while, no, like you, people would feel like they're not, if you're not emotionally getting your needs met, then it it affects trust. It also definitely affects like being with this person physically is what I'm trying to get at. So I think you're beautiful inside and out. I see the light that radiates from your soul for this person again. Feels like again, like you're opposite from them. They know that like they have a lot of dark energy. I feel like they're attracted to you because you are light. And so part of that lightness is innocence. Part of that lightness is pure. And that and so they do feel like you're their counterpart, but just their 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 idea of counterpart is that they would be dominant and you would be also submissive. Like, remember, this person isn't coming from a balanced reality. They're coming from the illusion of what they want to be perceived as and what they and their action with that is to be stubborn, to be dominant, to, but it's not that they don't, that there isn't a sexual connection. There is. It's, but I feel like why there really is because you are like really seen as like pure, as light, as loving, as like healing. There's a lot of feminine energy, and doesn't mean that you're a woman, but there just seems to be like somebody that again brings that to the table, and this person wants that, they desire that. This situation is being caused by both of us. So it's again this person, then that's the thing. It's like this is where the relationship tends to again, this person gets in their ego. They don't want to see how they contribute to it. They see, yeah, like, you don't like what I do, but you don't have to react. So a lot, they never take full responsibility. And so yeah, obviously it's being caused by the two of you. I mean, you're in a relationship with two people, only you're again grounded in what you want. So you see, but I'm feeling from a spiritual level, it really is being caused by both of you because you have blocks. You attracted this person into your life for a reason that we're going to look at in a little bit after we take a look to see what else this person feels. But it is being caused by you from the dynamic of the attachment style. You have the anxious avoidant that's connected to the anxious attachment. So you got a runner chaser going on right here. You got a paradox of energy, which is, people that are by like on the different spectrums, literally, like opposite spectrums. So the approach to life is different. Life, just the way that they think is different. Everything is different. And so you have two people that deal with life different, but they also have similar traumas. They tend to control, they tend to come more again from a survival based consciousness from their own, though. So that it would obviously trigger. Two controlling people are going to trigger, obviously. So this is what Spirit's saying. It's like, yeah, it is being controlled by two people. I mean, by both of you, because you both grew up in a similar environment. You have the same behaviorisms. You're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. Though you might say, but I'm opposite. You are opposite, but this person is like your counterpart. So there's a lot of similarities here, meaning the traumas are the same. Some of the things are the same because of the trauma. And that's why Spirit's saying, from a spiritual perspective, it is being caused from that, but not because of what your person thinks. Your person isn't healed, so they're projecting, saying, oh, well, we're both doing it. No, 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 that's just their way of not taking full responsibility. And your way is, I'm not doing anything at all. And Spirit's saying that's not accurate either, because you wouldn't pull this person into your life and have this situation unfold the way that it is if you both weren't. You might be like, but I didn't start it. And Spirit says, no, but entertaining it, dealing with it the same way that you've dealt with, the original wound, which is caring too much, wanting this person to change, holding space in your head for them. All that Spirit says this person didn't earn it. And if it's a real spiritual connection, a person's going to come back a hell of a lot faster when you cut that energy than if you're psychically holding on, because they can feel that you're still there. Part of not holding on is to create a new life. So that's why Spirit's saying, well, it's true that you both are, but not from this person's perspective. Okay, like this person thinks for whatever reason that you both, like, again, soulmate twin flame energy, 1111, almost like this situation is making them awaken. Now, I don't know whether or not, again, I'm not saying what this person feels isn't true, that you may be a twin flame, you may, but just because you're a twin flame doesn't mean that you automatically are going to be together. I think that this person thinks that like it's just automatically going to work out. And it's going to work out because I still feel your connection. I know how much you cared about me. I know, you wouldn't have put in this much effort trying to convince me to be different. You wouldn't have, you know, put up with me. I can't fully be there for you as long as there's another person in my life. I know it's hard for you, but I have to go through this experience in order to heal it. So again, for some of you, this person wants their cake and eat it too, it looks like. It doesn't look like they like the person that they're connected to, which is probably why I didn't feel like there was even another person there. However, there isn't. There's again why this person wants you to compartmentalize. They want you to compartmentalize because again, they're giving to somebody else. So, and that's for some of you. And so they also have to fix certain things within their life. So they're not making you the priority in their life. And it's true, they do have to go through a situation in order to fully heal it. But the problem is that this person doesn't talk. They avoid, they have avoidant style. And so again, now if they're in a relationship with somebody else that they're ending it or wanting to end it, which is why I feel like again now it's making a lot of sense why this person it was like again being in a vicious cycle where you're feeling like I'm in a vicious cycle because it's like you don't really want to deal with your situation. You want me to be in your life. You would love, that you feel the passion. We have passion, but you're keeping it in a low vibration, and you're keeping it in a low vibration because you're connected to somebody else. So the reason why, like, both the situation is created from both of us is because I'm not giving in to you and you're being stubborn to me, where really it's like you need attention from everyone. And there's like, like not just, you're not going to just give me the attention, which is what I feel like there's a part of you that's like, I've lost faith in the fact of that because it's like this connection has been nothing but a struggle. And it's a struggle because I don't know what's real and what's not. You tell me that you're getting out of a situation. I don't even feel like you're with that person. However, you're not giving to me fully. You compartmentalize. You keep me out of parts of your life. And now I understand why, because there's somebody else that's lingering in the background that you're not with, but you're going to give them the loyalty. You're going to give them the respect. And so that person's not going to go anywhere. And so, of course, you wouldn't want this. Again, the inner both like again, this person doesn't want to stay in that situation. And I feel like, and you again are like, okay, I don't, this is like hurting you because you're like, you have feelings for me. There's a connection for me, like for like that we have that needs to be elevated and you won't elevate it. And it's like inner child healing on both your part. Like, I feel like that's the thing. You giving this person, expecting them to raise their vibration when they were committed to being stubborn, when meanwhile it's because they're avoiding the situation that they have a karmic. And so again, there's no emotional feeling towards that person. However, that person is there and they're like, I'm not going anywhere. And that's so of course, it's like it keeps your person in a place of being like bound to something that they don't love. But again, having to take care of, feeling obligated to take care of, so they can't be in a real relationship. They can't have love, and then it keeps you from receiving love from this person because as long as that person's there. So I feel like because your person doesn't do anything about it. And that's why, again, you're like over it because you're like, you're going to be stubborn with me. You're going to hold out on me. And it's like, yes, because that karmic doesn't have feelings for them anymore to the point that they don't even show up in the reading until like, it's like, why aren't you coming forward? Why aren't you giving? It's like, well, there's somebody else here. So, and I have to go through this experience with them. It's like, I feel like that karmic has them has them by the neck. It's like, you need to stay here. You need to stay here. You need to pay me off. You need that they have some sort of responsibility. And your person isn't really honest. It's like they want you, but they also aren't working their ass off to like get out of their situation. And the karmic knows that. And the karmic also knows eventually you're gonna get tired. You that event, and if it's they might not know it's you, but whoever's there is gonna get tired. And eventually things will go back. And so, like you said, until your person actually does anything, it keeps you both like kind of feeling these inner child wounds, the same wounds. And I can guarantee it's like where you don't feel good enough, where you don't feel like you're deserving of love, that you're not getting choose, that you're not getting time and attention. So we're going to see why you're attracting this person, because I don't see them being strong enough to leave. I see them again instead trying to manipulate the situation so that you will so that you'll cave to them. And that's because again that karmic has a very strong hold on them, a very strong hold. Source, first card out, play, truth, naive, suppression, neglect. Well, I feel these are your inner child wounds. So your shadows always come from your inner child wounds, 90% of the time anyway. And they continue to play out as karmic themes. So neglect, not getting what you needed. Also, again, my way or the highway, suppression. I feel like you're someone that's very intuitive and has always had a very, again, close connection to source, and that will happen if you were neglected. You were emotionally neglected, if you were physically neglected as a child, you're actually the trauma made sure that you were in that realm, in the spiritual realm, and that you have a lot of gifts. So I feel like you had a lot of gifts and you like avoided this situation, to be honest with you, because I feel like I said, you were like, due to your stubbornness, due to you holding out on me, I'm not stupid. I know the truth, and the truth is that where is that? And the truth is, you think that I'm naive, but I'm not naive. What I know is that there's a third party. Where is that card? Okay, so there is, oh, here it is, truth. So that you're a truth speaker. So when you again have a good connection to source, that you are have very strong intuition, guidance. It's like, and you're, like I said, a true speaker. And I feel like this person acted like you were naive, and you might have been naive because you gave this person attention, because you felt the connection. You really thought that they were going to treat you the way that you treated them. But the truth of the matter is that they're neglecting you because they can't be in two places at one time. They're neglecting your emotional needs. That's happened before. I feel like the way that you grew up. And then when it's not acknowledged, what is it? It's kind of being suppressed. So it's like you having to compartmentalize, you not being able to really like express your feelings because of this person's situation. Obviously, the relationship can't grow, which is why you threw in the towel, because you were like, I'm losing faith in this connection, even though you do see me as someone pure, someone that's your counterpart, someone that you're very spiritually connected to, but possibly due to the fact that you need healing. And that's really what I feel like you're saying, because you're like, we have a connection, but you're not strong enough to do what you need to do for yourself. So that makes me ruminate on how you're treating me, and it keeps me in a low vibration. It keeps me stuck. And I feel like that's why again you became resentful, because you're like, you know what you're doing. It's like, and you know that it's not fair. It's like, it even says it here, like you need to go through the experience. Why? Why do you need to go through the experience? Why do you need to be like connected to this person? And if you did need to be connected to this person, how come we can't have a conversation about it? And I feel like that's why you don't feel safe, because this person doesn't know what they're gonna do. And when they think about it, they don't. They go into this escaping. It's not like this person hasn't done this before. It's like it's a karmic. It's like they don't want to be in that situation. They had feelings, but it will require them to do work and not have other people mold to what's comfortable for them. It's again to get out of this vicious cycle of going around and around and around and around and around and around and around in circles, and then they pretend that they don't know what they're doing. No, they know what they're doing. They know eventually too that can, whatever you would, if you went into the relationship the way that it would never evolve into anything. So I feel like as a child, if you were neglected, you escaped it, but you escaped through playing, right? It's again, believe it or not, that is a gift. You didn't just isolate by yourself. You didn't just sit there in a box and read in the backyard. That's what my older sister did. Like, so I know that some kids actually really do that. They don't want to be as interactive in life. You played, you went out, and that's why again you let source lead you, because you were neglected, so you had to give yourself the emotional support. So you know how to do that. This person thought that you were naive. I believe that you were naive as a child. You thought, this, my mother, my father, they're gonna love me unconditionally, and this is what it's gonna look like. And it didn't look like that. And I believe that you gave second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth chances with people like you couldn't, because there was a little bit of naive. And this is the wound of feeling like, what about my feelings? What about me? And so again, you're a truth speaker, have being very connected to source, um, will always lead you to your passion to play, to help you create a new life. And I feel like that's pretty much what happened here, because this person wasn't giving you, they can't be in two places at one time. They're expecting you to like settle for breadcrumbs while they supposedly figure it out, but they're not figuring out shit. Because guess what? As long as you're there, they don't have to. And so we ask again, why don't they do what they need to do with that karmic already? I mean, normally I don't ask, but I want to know in this story, because it's like you care, but it's like, why aren't you strong enough? Like, why? And so again, emotional fulfillment, it's like, because you're giving them emotional fulfillment. They believe that again, I feel like you stuck around, you gave them that, so they do consider you as that, but why? Also, that they get part of their emotional fulfillment from that karmic. Now, that doesn't mean that they like the karmic, but if the karmic takes care of a lot of things, whether or not it's their business, the bills, the house, if they have kids, if they have whatever it is, takes care of that. And so that does emotionally make this person like dependable on them, even though it's not love. Remember, your person might identify that with love, you know, especially if they're not very emotionally intelligent. So there is a little bit, there's like, again, this person's torn. But that karmic has been giving energy for a long time. So it's also like, what's familiar, it's what's comfortable. And that's why I said emotionally fulfilling, because this person doesn't have to change. This fell out. Let's see what it is. It's because they find that again, it's leaving will be a risky endeavor. It's again, that's what Ace of Coins is reversed. It's like, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna get with you. So even though I'm not like happy 100% with the karmic, it's like I've been with this person a long time. I get my needs met. It's comfortable because it's familiar. And with you, it's like, I don't know how things are going to be because you're not making it easy here as it is. You want more from me. You don't want to like understand my situation. So if I get into a relationship with you, am I going to be comfortable or am I going to be uncomfortable? I have a feeling I'm going to be uncomfortable because it's going to be new surrounding. It's not going to be familiar. That's someone that has a root chakra imbalance, by the way, someone that's not strong within themselves, that would rather stay where they're uncomfortable because they know exactly what they're going to get instead of taking a chance to really be comfortable. And so part of it is that why else is there like any other reason? I mean, those are big reasons. So this is why you're like, no, I'm not dealing with it. Not dealing with like you want to be comfortable, but you don't care whether I'm comfortable, which is pretty much, yeah. It's again, and like the world reversed. It's like this person like is afraid to like close the door, right? I mean, seeking closure. It's like they want to do closure to close it, but when I ask, why aren't you doing it? And it's like, because emotionally I do get something, and it's like I don't know what I'm gonna get with you, and it's also like I really have to like close the door and want to do that, and I'm afraid to do that because again it's what's familiar. So that, like I said, I feel like this person brought the reason why you came into their life is again to put the energy back into yourself. If you were neglected, and it was to give yourself that time, that energy, because what I see here is this person doesn't really have good intentions. It's like I said, I feel like they're almost too comfortable. It's like, oh, it's like too hard, it's too comfortable, and that like you deserve somebody that if they don't want to be with this person and they've been in a dead relationship, they should like wanna leave just because they should wanna like have a fulfilling life with a real relationship without even someone being there. They should want to do it for themselves, you know, instead of like, it's almost like if they're with you, it's like you're like, they need an outlet. That's like they're using you as an outlet because they don't really get what they need from that karmic on a romantic level, on a, on a sexual level. And you wouldn't if there's been a lot of betrayal. I mean, clearly your person doesn't want to be with them. Doesn't matter. The karmic is like, I don't care what you want. I'm not going anywhere. And so really, they can make all the excuses in the world, but the real reason is the fact of I'm afraid to know what would be new, where they don't reclaim their power. This is the real reason. Okay, they refuse to reclaim their power. And so that's why, in this particular story, it was more about what did this person teach you? What did you need to learn? What did you need to integrate? And I feel like the integration was, remember that you have like that strong connection to God, that you are a truth speaker, and that go out and play. When you go out and play, you find yourself, you give yourself the emotional fulfillment that you need. That's how you heal this neglect. It's not bad to be naive. You can approach life like be naive, because like children don't have negative perceptions about how life is. And that means when you go out and you try things, don't have a perception of or an expectation of how it's supposed to look. Approach everything like a child. Now, with people, you don't really want to approach people like a child. However, new endeavors such as if you want to take a painting class, if you want to take a course, if you want to, you know, put your time into doing something that's gonna teach you, grow you, change you, fulfill you, approach it like a child, no expectations, just do it because you love it. That energy will eventually lead you to co-creating with source because it takes on a synergy. Because when you do what you love, when you find what you love by playing, right, by experimenting, going out into the world, you're feeding yourself. And then when you love what you do, you feed it more and more and more and more and more. It takes a synergy, like creates a synergy, and then you begin to meet people that do that are like-minded. And then you again slowly are brought into a whole new world. And that new world consists of maybe like more classes that are similar to the class, meeting more people, going to more events, and you begin to live your bliss where you're not logically trying to navigate your life coming from a survival perspective. You're living your bliss, and that you're seeing support because you're doing what you love, you're fulfilling yourself. And that is the way that you are able to, like I said, integrate this spiritual lesson where this person like is making you feel like, you know, you're second best, or making you feel like because the like that, I don't know, that they're not choosing you, and meanwhile it's like they're not choosing anybody, including themselves, and that it's about giving to yourself so you can see that this has nothing to do with you. They have feelings for you. They're not strong enough to do what it takes to be with you. So we ask Spirit, what other energy can we pull in to ourselves, to our consciousness, to make us feel better? And let's see, like when we're connected to someone like this, it's hard because it's like, instead of dealing with it, you avoid. And you avoid, but then you say that you have feelings for me, and I know that you have feelings for me. But, and they do, they don't care enough about themselves to do what they need to do. They don't trust themselves. That's really what a root chakra imbalance is, where they're like, yeah, I'm not 100% happy here, but it's familiar, so it's comfortable, and I know what I'm gonna get. I don't know what I would get with you. Yes, I love you, I like you, but you're a little too good for me too, because you don't just mold to like what I want. You know, like this situation is being caused from the both of us. And it's like, you're like, yeah, because I'm not like letting you live the way that you want to, and then me going along with it like it's okay. And which means ignoring my feelings, my wants, my needs. Yeah, that's right. It is being caused by both of us. But it's like you said, this person like doesn't see. So the energy that Spirit says is when we again put the energy into ourself, and again the passions, like you said, it takes on a synergy. Well, Spirit says what you need to do with that emotional energy is create. And it says, I have the power to direct my life. With a constructive attitude, I create what is best for my soul. I firmly believe I can transform and improve my inner and outer worlds by turning every thought into an affirmation action. I act in the image of God and bring light into my life. So to be able to look at the situation the way that God looks at this situation, which is again that this person is weak, Spirit might not use the word weak, but Spirit would say, this person is wounded. So look at them through the lens of unconditional love. Know that they do love you. but they don't love themselves. They're not strong enough in themselves. So they don't really even believe that the relationship with you would last because of them, not you. It's like, and their life tells you that by the way that they were living. That never meant that they didn't love. They love, but they love from their level of consciousness, which just isn't good enough for you. And that's what you learned a long time ago because you didn't get what you needed in childhood. You know exactly what that feels like. You don't want to be chosen second best. You don't want to deal with other people's baggage. Take the time to create your own life. It's exactly like we're all in charge of creating our own life. And this situation is brought to you to help you also improve your life by again seeing what needed to be healed. And I think that there were telltale signs that this person, didn't really know how to deal with their situation. And I feel like you encouraged them and they would get pumped up and they would think that they could do it, but then they go right back into the same situation. Like if this person would continue to keep coming around if they don't live together, and if they do live together, this person like would go back into the situation and just relive the same thing and do the same thing. So it's like, unless you were going to abandon yourself to get this person out of their situation, they were never gonna. And so take the energy and put it into creating your own life. That's why this person came into your life. And a lot of times, broken people come into our life. And if you're not living up to your full potential, it's like because of the connection, you'll take all your time, your energy, your effort to help this person. And what happens is that person eventually doesn't stay with you because they're showing that they have weak character right off the bat. They're not, no one should be able to influence someone to make them stay. If you really want to leave, then you leave. There's other things that keep this person there. And part of it is that they're comfortable. And that means that they don't want to grow. And so it's about you continuing to grow by 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 directing your life with a positive attitude and by looking at the situation like they did love me, they did the best that they could, but they can't even for themselves. But thank God I love myself because I'm going to create the life that I want to create. I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. You let me know how you resonated. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.